During the interview process, many employers ask candidates to complete an assessment test before advancing to the next stage. These tests are designed to measure skills that are essential for candidate success on the job. Microsoft Office is one of the most powerful applications for creating, editing, and managing content across work, school, and personal projects. In this video, you'll quickly learn how to get started with essential Office apps, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and OneNote, through practical, real-world examples. We'll also explore how to integrate Office with ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, and other AI tools to streamline your workflow and save time. All of this and more right here on Online Training for Everyone. In many everyday workflows, you'll need to know how to quickly find and retrieve information from a table of data. Let's say you're retrieving a sales report and you want to know how much revenue Emily brought in. Instead of scrolling, let's use a lookup formula to fetch it instantly. Let's start with VLOOKUP. We'll navigate to Formulas and an Insert function. We'll find VLOOKUP on the list. For the lookup value, we'll use Emily. For table array, we'll select A2 through C10. For the index column, we'll use 3 because revenue is located in column C. And for the range lookup, we'll enter false. This ensures the exact match. As you can see, VLOOKUP retrieved the correct value from the cell C2. What's the challenge with VLOOKUP? If you insert any columns between A and C, the formula will break, and it cannot search to the left. This is why most people now prefer XLOOKUP. Let's try this cleaner formula. Let's click Insert function and type XLOOKUP. For the lookup value, we'll use Emily. For the lookup array, we'll use A2 through A10, and for the return array, we'll use C2 through C10. The formula returned exactly the same value. But when it looks for Emily and pulls revenue, it does it without the column count or direction limit. What's cool about XLOOKUP? We can do it the other way too. Let's search by region and find the name. In this version of XLOOKUP, we'll look for region West, and our lookup array will be B2 through B10, and the return array will be A2 through A10. As you can see, it correctly found Jake because it matches the West region. And keep in mind that now we are returning a salesperson based on their region, which is something that VLOOKUP cannot do. What if the name isn't on the list? Can we add an error message to alarm us? Let's try it with XLOOKUP. We'll search for Sam, and the lookup array will be A2 through A10, and the return array will be C2 through C10. And if data not found, we'll return an error message not found. As you can see, data for Sam is not found, because Sam is not on the list. And what's cool about this, that instead of messy error, you get a friendly message. This is perfect for client-facing reports or student templates. And finally, let's say that you are in HR and you want to find an employee by employee ID. Believe it or not, but we can do it with XLOOKUP as well. For the lookup value, let's type 1002. For the lookup array, let's type D2 through D10. And for the return array, let's type A2 through A10. Now we're using ID to pull back a name, which is useful in data merges, automation, or validation forms. Very often, professionals face the challenge of summarizing large data sets quickly and accurately. Let's say you handed a messy-looking sales report, dozens of rows, different products, dates, regions. Your job? Turn it into a clean summary, and do it fast. This is where pivot tables shine. Let's take a close look at this report. The columns show data for salesperson, region, product, customer type, order date, units sold, and revenue. Some salespeople have multiple records. For example, Emily has 2 records, both for East region, but she made 2 sales of laptop and the monitor. There are a couple important considerations before we convert this data set into a pivot table. Every column should have a clear header, which is true in our case. There shouldn't be any merged cells, there shouldn't be any empty rows, and dates must be in the valid Excel date format. In our dataset, everything checks, so we're ready to go. Let's click on any cell in our dataset and click Insert and then Pivot Table. We'll select New Worksheet and click OK. Our data is still in the Sales Data tab, but Excel created a new sheet where we can summarize the data. Here you can see all the column headers from our original dataset. Let's first summarize the revenue by region. To do this, let's drag the region into rows, and then let's drag revenue into values. And if you look closely on the left, you've got total revenue by region in seconds. Now let's break it down further by product. To do this, let's drag product below region in the rows pane. Now we have a nested view. You see how each product performed in each region. Now let's compare sales across time. To do this, let's add order date to the rows. Now you see revenue trend over time, which is ideal for monthly reports. Now let's segment the data by customer type. Remember, in the original data we had retail and wholesale customer type. To do the segmentation, let's drag customer type into filters. And now you see additional filter has been added on the top. And we can select between retail and wholesale, as well as choose both of them. Do you want to determine total units sold by a salesperson? No problem. Let's clear all the fields. To do this, let's select the field and click Remove Field. And now, starting fresh, we need to drag salesperson into rows and units sold into values. Now you can see who is driving performance. And if you add product to columns, suddenly you've got cross-tab summary of units sold per product and per person. The summary might help you determine who is selling better and which product, which might help in cross-knowledge sharing or specialization. In many everyday workflows, you'll need to know how to do more in Excel, but without spending hours Googling formulas or clicking through tutorial videos. Whether you're managing budget, running payroll, or tracking performance, Excel is very powerful, but sometimes overwhelming, especially if you're not a formula expert. This is where ChatGPT comes in. Think of it like your personal Excel assistant. You type in the query and you get the answer. ChatGPT is always ready, never tired, and always up for solving a spreadsheet headache. Let's walk through a real-world example. Imagine that you're in charge of tracking pay for a small team. You've got a list of employees, their hours worked, and hourly rates. You want to automatically add a $100 bonus for anyone who worked over 40 hours. It's a common productivity challenge and perfect job for ChatGPT. Well, the cool thing, you don't have to know Excel formulas, you just have to describe what you want. Let's start by asking ChatGPT. Write an Excel formula that gives a $100 bonus if someone works more than 40 hours. ChatGPT quickly gave us answer. It used if formula, and if A1 is greater than 40, return 100, otherwise return 0. Let's try this formula in our spreadsheet. Obviously, we would need to change the A1 to B2, because this is where hours worked are located. If B2 is greater than 40, return 100, or otherwise return 0. Obviously, Excel returns 0 because Alice worked exactly 40 hours. But what if we expand this formula? Let's just drag it across the entire team. You see that Charlie and Edward got a $100 bonus. But what if the formula doesn't work the way you expected? Or what if you're not sure how it works at all? You can copy the formula back to ChatGPT and ask, can you explain this to me? Let's copy the formula from Excel and paste it into ChatGPT. You can also add, explain it to me in 2 sentences. So the response is not very verbose. And here's what ChatGPT returned. This Excel formula checks if value in cell B2 is greater than 40. If it is, the formula returns 100. If not, it returns 0. And that's some real-time problem solving. You just leveled up your spreadsheet without Googling anything. A lot of times you need to share a document but remove sensitive data, like names, account numbers, or confidential terms before sending it out. This process is called redaction. Let's start by identifying and highlighting what needs to be redacted. As a first step, let's use a word highlighter tool to temporarily mark everything that should be redacted. That helps you review before finalizing redaction. In the next step, let's replace sensitive data with black bars or placeholder text. To redact text, don't just change the color of the text. You need to completely replace it so the data isn't recoverable. And there are 2 safe ways to do it. Replace it with the black rectangles, or replace the content with the placeholder characters, like redacted in square brackets. Even after redacting visible text, documents may still contain hidden data, like comments, revision history, or author names. Let's clear that too. Let's navigate to File, Info, Check for Issues, and Inspect Document. This allows us to run Document Inspector to remove all metadata, comments, and track changes. And in the last step, let's save a secure copy for distribution, preferably as PDF. We'll use File, Save As, choose Location, and name it same name as the original document, plus redacted contract. A lot of times, especially if you're a business professional, you'll find yourself needing to send invoices frequently. Let me share with you how to create professional, reusable invoice template in Microsoft Word, and along the way, we'll explore key business considerations and productivity features that make your invoices smarter, faster, and more client-friendly. Once we start with the blank Word document, go to the Layout tab and set your margins to narrow. This gives you more room for tables and fields while keeping everything printable. At the top, let's add your business name, contact details, and logo. This builds trust and ensures your invoice is instantly recognizable. We will use Word's header section to keep this information consistent across multiple pages, and make sure to insert your logo by using Insert Pictures. Align text and visuals using table layout and text boxes. In the next step, we will add a clear section for client information, invoice number, invoice date, and due date. We will use Word tables to accomplish this, and here's the business tip for you. A consistent invoice numbering system like INV, the year, and the invoice number helps track payments, prevent duplicates, and organize files. In the next step, let's create the table to capture the work done. You will want columns like item, description, quantity, rate, and the line total. You can change the background in both table sections to make it look more professional. In the next step, let's add taxes, discounts, and grand total. Right under the item table, include rows for subtotal, tax, discounts, and final amount due. You can reposition the new table to make it look more professional. And here's the business tip for you. Always list taxes or discounts separately. It improves transparency and helps clients with accounting or reimbursements. And in the last visible section on the invoice, we can insert payment terms and notes. Make sure to always be clear about payment terms to avoid delayed payments. Also, consider adding a short "thank you for your business" note. It builds goodwill. Once your invoice is polished and functional, make sure to save it as Word template so you can reuse it without accidentally overwriting it. You can select Word template in the Save As dialog box. Before sending, export your invoice as PDF to ensure formatting is preserved and edits aren't made by mistake. A lot of times, whether you're in legal services, a consultant, a freelancer, or a business professional, you'll find yourself needing to format a contract in Word. Let me show you how to format a clean, legally sound contract in Microsoft Word, and along the way, we'll highlight key business and legal best practices that every professional should know. We begin with a blank document or an existing draft. First, set your margins to 1 inch and choose a clean, formal font like Times New Roman or Calibri, sizes 11 or 12. These basic formatting steps aren't just cosmetic. They create a more readable and scannable contract for both internal reviews and legal counterparts. Legal contracts are complex, so breaking them into well-labeled sections is essential. Use Heading 1 for major parts like scope of work, compensation, and termination, and Heading 2 for subsections. Let's now talk about clauses. In legal writing, numbering matters. Use multi-level lists to number your contract in a consistent way, like 1.1, 1.2, 2.1, and etc. This way, you don't have to manage it manually. This enables readers to reference specific section quickly and keeps your layout compliant with legal norms. Every contract ends with the signature. Use Work Signature Line feature to insert a professional-looking area for signing. And for document you plan to reuse, you can make parts of your contract editable with the content controls. In the next step, let's consider locking the document with restricted editing. Contracts must be secure, especially if you're sharing drafts for review. You can use Word Restrict Editing feature to lock layout and styles, while allowing changes only in fillable fields or comments. You can also turn and track changes to keep a revision history of all the edits, essentially for legal negotiations. And once you're done formatting your contract, save it as Word template.x or export it to PDF. A lot of times, you need to create a proposal that doesn't just describe your offer, but actually wins the deals. Let me walk you through building a real proposal for an AI-powered content marketing strategy targeting a popular business challenge, boosting e-commerce growth. We'll use ChatGPT to generate ideas and content, and Microsoft Word to turn it into polished, persuasive document. First, let's use ChatGPT to generate a solid outline. We'll ask ChatGPT to write a business proposal outline for an AI-powered content marketing solution for e-commerce. This gives us all the key sections: executive summary, problem, solution, timeline, budget, and call to action. Now we can paste this into Word and apply heading styles to structure the proposal. Styles help make your document easy to navigate, especially when clients are just glancing at it. In the next step, as we have outline ready, let's refine the executive summary. We'll ask ChatGPT to write a 1-paragraph executive summary for this proposal. We can copy and paste it into Word and revise the language to make it more client-focused. Remember, a winning proposal focuses on their pain points and goals, not just your services. When reviewing the document, you realized that implementation plan and pricing are missing. It might be a good idea to add them into proposal as appendix and customize it for Chicago area, which is where our client is located. As part of our pricing model, we can offer multiple plans: starter plan, professional plan, enterprise plan, as well as add-on services. In the next step, we'll add company logo, change the theme colors, and use consistent fonts. The small touches go a long way toward making your proposal feel professional and trustworthy. If you think that something might be missing, you might be right. Now is the good time to improve tone and handle objections. Let's ask ChatGPT to rewrite sections in a more persuasive tone and handle common clients' objections. If you don't know what the objections might be, ask ChatGPT. What objections might a small e-commerce company have about AI content? Write responses I can include in my proposal. And in the final step, let's save the finished proposal as PDF, so the formatting stays consistent when sharing with your client or a team. Most professionals eventually face the challenge of making a strong PowerPoint presentation, whether it's for pitching an idea, leading a meeting, teaching a class, or sharing progress in a virtual team setting. Let me walk you through 5 essential presentation tips, and along the way, I'll show you PowerPoint features that can make your slides more effective, polished, and easier to build. Let's start with the structure. A lot of people waste time formatting slides one by one. But if you want a clean, consistent design across the whole presentation, your best friend is the Slide Master. The Slide Master lets you control fonts, colors, logos, and layout spacing across every slide type in your deck. A common mistake is trying to cram multiple points into one slide. Instead, aim for one idea per slide. Think of each slide like a billboard, short, focused, and instantly readable. Now let's talk visuals. Good presentations don't just tell, they show. Use images, charts, and icons that directly support your message. In addition to images you have, PowerPoint offers smart art, icons, and chart tools that make it easy to build visual support without needing graphic design skills. One of the fastest ways to lose the audience is too much text. Aim for 5-6 words per line and no more than 3-4 lines per slide. Also, use large fonts, at least 24 points, so the text is readable from across the room or through a Zoom window. PowerPoint gives you font presets, alignment tools, and access to easy-to-read fonts like Calibri, Segoe UI, or Arial. Every good presentation ends with the clear call to action or summary. What do you want your audience to remember to do next? Use the bold summary slide and next step checklist. You can even use Design Ideas, a PowerPoint 365 feature, to automatically generate clean layout suggestions for your final slide. As a professional, you very frequently face the challenge of building a presentation that looks polished without spending hours on design and animations. Let me show you how you can build cool presentation with Microsoft Copilot AI for the topic Time Management Strategies that Work. To start, let's open PowerPoint and activate Copilot. In the home screen, I clicked Create with Copilot. In the section Create a Presentation About, I typed a topic, Time Management Strategies that Work. In seconds, Copilot generated an outline for the presentation, which was amazingly good. You can see that all key topics have been covered here. It also estimated the number of slides. It would be between 20 and 40. I'm happy with the content, and now I can click the button Generate Slides. These are the slides Copilot generated. As you can see, they're pretty good. There is a warning, AI-generated content may be incorrect, but I'm planning to validate it before presenting, so I'm gonna click Keep It. By default, Copilot switched us to Slide Sorter View, which I rarely use, but it is part of PowerPoint. To change it, you click on View and change either to Normal or to Outline Master. Now let's look at the presentation slide by slide to see how we can enhance it. The first slide looks kind of boring. What can we do? We can use Microsoft Designer. It's an internal tool inside PowerPoint. Click on the Design tab and click Design Suggestions. Designer generated few interesting ideas. Let's pick this one. As you can see, once I clicked on it, it automatically applied the formatting to the first slide. You can do the same for every slide in the presentation. Let's do it for the second slide. It's a little bit different, but Designer generated a lot of other ideas of how you can format the slide, and you can choose based on your preferences. You may ask, what about animations? The cool thing is that Copilot added animations automatically. Let's look at the first slide. If we navigate to Animations tab and click Animation pane, you see that animations have been added. Let's take a look. Isn't it cool? Let's look at the second slide just to confirm. When I click play all, you see that we also have animations here. I also wanted to tweak slide 4. Right now it shows the content for defining time management and its benefits. I only wanted to keep the benefits. So I opened Copilot by navigating to the Home tab and clicking Copilot. And then I typed in Copilot window, replace slide 4 bullets with benefits of time management only, removing the definition. Copilot processed and understood my request and generated 3 bullets I can use to show the benefits: reduce stress, increased efficiency, and work-life balance. It also suggested that now I can copy this content and apply it to the slide in PowerPoint. Then I previewed the full deck in presenter mode. To do this, I clicked on the slideshow button. Every slide was clean, consistent, and timed for real delivery. No clunky transitions, no visual noise. The entire build took just a few minutes, start to finish. The animations, the images, and the bullet logic, all handled by Copilot Plus Designer with the few simple prompts. Here's the quick workflow recap for you. Start with Copilot. Let it generate, animate, and structure your message. Use Microsoft Designer to clean up layouts. Refine with smart prompts. And preview like a pro. And this is how you build a standout animated PowerPoints. Fast, smart, and focused. And with AI. Very often, you may need to share a presentation with people who won't be there live. I needed to turn my time management strategies that work PowerPoint into a video, something I could share with the clients or drop into the training portal. PowerPoint has a built-in export to video tool, and with the little help from Copilot, the process was fast and polished. I used Microsoft Copilot to generate the narration script and rehearse timings. If you don't rehearse timings, PowerPoint defaults to 5 seconds per slide. That's fine for static slides, but bad for animated ones. Because my PowerPoint deck had animations, I felt that I need to do pacing first before exporting the video. To open Copilot, on the Home tab, you click Copilot button. And here in Copilot window, you can type the message. Write a short narration script for each slide in the deck. Here's the message I received back. I've added speaker notes to all slides. Review each slide and make edits manually, or undo it and try again. Let's take a look at the notes for the first slide. You see that information was generated by Copilot. And here's my script for the first slide. SMART goals provide a structured framework for setting objectives that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And if I close Copilot window to expand the size of the slide, I can see that it matches perfectly to the information I'm trying to present. Next, I need to rehearse the presentation with narration. To do this, I clicked Slideshow and then Rehearse Timings. Here I read the narration aloud, and PowerPoint automatically recorded the time I spent on each slide. At the end, it prompted me to save the timings, and I clicked Yes. Now the presentation had accurate pacing, ready to become a video with the voice-style delivery, even if you didn't record a real audio. It's always a good idea to review animations and visual flow before exporting. To do this, you need to go to Animation pane and check that all animations aligned with my narration timings. I navigated to Animations tab and clicked Animation pane. Each slide had different animations, and you can see all of them in Animation pane. You can play them as well. Keep in mind that clean, controlled pacing is what separates amateur slideshows from the professional video. Now we are ready to export presentation as a video file. To do this, let's navigate to File, Export, and then create a video. I chose Full HD, which is 1080p resolution for sharp output, and made sure that the settings said Use recorded timings and narration, which I selected as Yes. On the File Export screen, I selected my Documents folder and clicked Export. PowerPoint rendered the entire presentation, animations, transition, and pacing into a standalone video. You can see the progress of export at the bottom. The result of the export was a clean, professional quality video that I could share by email, upload to YouTube, or embed into the course. Very often, you'll find yourself needing to send the same email to multiple people, clients, team members, or students. When you use the To or CC fields in Outlook, everyone in the list can see who else received the message. This may be fine for internal communications, but it's not ideal in many professional settings. To keep your recipient list private, Outlook offers the BCC option, Blind Carbon Copy. When you use BCC, each recipient receives the email, but no one sees who else got it. If the BCC field isn't visible by default, you will need to enable it. To enable it, you need to go to Options and select BCC. If you're using the classic ribbon, the BCC option is one of the buttons. And now you're ready to compose your message. but instead of placing addresses in the to and CC fields, add them to the BCC. What I've seen working well is people send email to themselves and then BCC important clients. Before sending, make sure to double-check your message and recipients. Once you send it, each person will receive an individual-looking email unaware of the others. This is especially useful for announcements, customer follow-ups, or sensitive messages. Using BCC helps maintain privacy and keeps your email looking personal, but overusing it, especially in internal communication, can reduce transparency. Most professionals eventually face the challenge of juggling notes, tasks, and ideas across dozens of tools and folders. OneNote solves this with the clear structure that works just like your brain: notebooks, sections, and pages. Let me show you how to set up a professional OneNote notebook from scratch, step by step, and explain why each part matters. Let's start by creating a notebook. I'll call it Marketing Project Notes. You can think of this like a binder for a specific project, client, or team initiative. Why this structure? Because it keeps everything about this one marketing campaign: tasks, feedback, meetings, assets, all in one place. Next, I'll add few sections. These are just like tabs in a binders. Let's start with campaign plan, meetings, client feedback, and then add campaign assets. Each one represents a different stream of work within the same project. This avoids clutter and keeps notes findable. Inside each section, I add pages for specific moments or documents. Let's build one together. Under campaign plan, I will add overview and goals, timeline, and brainstorm. Overview and goals to capture plain text, timeline to capture screen clippings and table, and brainstorm for bulleted ideas, audio notes, and tags. And here's what makes OneNote so powerful. I can type anywhere, paste anything, draw, or even record. You can also organize with tags and search. To keep track of tasks, I use tags. I'll mark this idea as to do and that one as important, and this question as follow-up. Later, I just hit the search bar and pull every to-do across the notebook. It's like creating a filtered dashboard without leaving the page. Now let's make it collaborative. I'll click Share, invite a team member, and now we can both add notes, comments, and ideas, and all of this live. This is essential for remote teams. Instead of messy email threads, everyone works in one shared brain. You can also integrate OneNote with Outlook and To-Do. This is how Outlook connects with your workflow. Do you have an important email? Hit Send to OneNote right from Outlook. And when you are inside OneNote, do you want to track a note as a task? Right-click on it, select Outlook Task, and sync it with Microsoft To-Do. This bridges your notes with your calendar and inbox without any copy and pasting. And that's the full structure built from scratch. This is how you benefit from OneNote the most. You build a clean structure, you capture content flexibly, you tag actionable items, you collaborate in real time, and you integrate with Outlook and To-Do. OneNote becomes more powerful the more intentionally you set it up. Remember, you're not just taking notes, you're building a second brain. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Online Training for Everyone. Have a great day.